Ethereum just rallied 128% in under 2 months. We're running out of room for this thing to continue going. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's time to start locking in big profits and start looking at a potential upcoming short position. I'm going to show you exactly what's going down in the markets. Let's get into it. If you're looking for the next 100x crypto project to buy into, you have come to the right place. My name is Cameron Foose, and I have been a professional day trader for nearly 20 years. I deposited $20,000 into an account, and in just over a year, it's now worth nearly $2 million. On this channel, I'm going to present to you the best altcoins to buy, such as getting into Mana before it ripped 595%, getting into Dogecoin before it ran 15,000%. So if you want to hear about all the best trade opportunities first, hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on the notifications bell so you can get these time-sensitive trade ideas immediately when my new videos go live. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Again, this is not financial advice, just me using the noggin to try to tell you what I think is going to happen and what I'm doing with my money. What you do with your money, I could care fucking less, okay? So don't follow anything I'm doing. That's absolutely stupid. Learn how to trade, learn how to think on your own. But this is my best analysis of what I think could be potentially happening in the upcoming future. First of all, Ethereum going on a gangbusters run here, guys, right? 128% in under 2 months. And right now, we are definitely peaking at the levels of 2000. We just barely tapped into 2000. And we're also in this channel here, of which this is where I think it's probably going to top. I would actually like to see it spike up to this level of about 2150, up into this next resistance level right here, the rest of the supply zone here, about 2150. That would be a key level to look for a bull trap here on Ethereum. Get heavily short and watch this thing absolutely crumble. We've seen a big spring to the upside, and when you see a big move that doesn't really have any pullbacks at all, you're gonna see a big pullback when the fear starts settling in and people start selling and the panic starts rolling in. That's when you're gonna see a big sell-off, just like we just saw USD JPY, where I made $114,000 going short USD JPY on this big collapse here in the markets. When you see the big moves, there's gonna be a big reaction and a big collapse, and that's currently what's in play across the board in all markets, okay? Especially in Ethereum. Ethereum is the market leader for crypto right now, ripping right up from 1,000 all the way up into the next psychological whole number of 2,000, and this is where I believe in this area, I think we're going to spike over 2,000, get everybody super hyped up, and it's going to create a bull trap somewhere in this range between 2,000, potentially up to 22, maybe even 2,300, retesting these lows here. But I do believe this to be a great area to be getting short. Potentially, maybe this is as high as it goes right here, and we start reversing, right? We don't exactly know. I currently do not have any positions short. I'm actually still long in the markets, of which I'll show you my positions here shortly. But I do think we're running out of room in the markets. In addition, if we look at the weekly chart here on Ethereum, we're retesting the upper range of the Trendex indicator right now, of which I do still believe we still have more room to the downside for the current weekly bearish trend. And we're just retesting these levels here on the upper range, right? It's flipping green at the moment because we are currently at the current price closing above the Trendex indicator on the weekly chart, but I don't think it's going to last here. I think we're going to top out between 2,000 to 2,300, potentially up over these double tap the lows here. Both these levels on Ethereum right around here is about 2,300. So I think that's probably the top area that we're going to potentially go. Maybe we don't go that high. Maybe we peak out right here at Trendex and flip, but that's what I think is going to happen. That's kind of what I'm playing in the market. I'm not going to be fully exposed to the market waiting for that to happen. I've been locking in gains across the board along the way, which I'll show you in a moment, but let's just take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here? Bitcoin coming back into the upper range of the channel. In fact, we haven't even tested it, but it's continually trending up, riding the Trendex indicator. Ideally, I wanted to see a move right into that level, and that's about where we're peaking out. As Ethereum peaked at 2K, Bitcoin is peaking at the top of the upper range. And if we look at the grand scheme of things, if we scroll this back and we look at the historical analysis of what happened every time Bitcoin has formed a bear flag inside of this current bearish trend, every time that we do see the bear flag breakdown on Bitcoin, we see a big leg down to the downside. And so that's what I currently think is going to happen again on Bitcoin, is another breakdown of a bear flag, retest the descending trend here as well, right around in this area, which could be upper the low here at about 26.5. Doesn't mean that we can't potentially just get an instant short squeeze right up to 30K, which would be the next psychological number. Potentially, if we do see that squeeze up to 30K, that would indicate a move on Ethereum up to the next level of about 2,300, right? So these are all scenarios that can happen. There's never a black and white scenario in trading. It's you look at all the potential possibilities and try to set up a trading plan that is in favor of the higher probability for you and manage the risk on the way. So you're losing a small amount if you're wrong, but you're gaining a big amount if you're right. That's all trading is. Game of identifying probabilities and setting up a trading plan that favors a higher risk reward that's in favor of you to make more than you're actually going to lose, and look for patterns that are playing out consistent. We don't want a 50% winning ratio. We would try to prefer at least over 60% winning ratios in our overall analytic of our trading. So that's currently what's going on Bitcoin. I do think we're getting ready to potentially peak here on Bitcoin. Ideally, it would be a better short if it came back up and retested this descending trend, of which we're not quite there yet. I'm still actually long Bitcoin at the moment, but I've locked in probably over 70% of my gains across the board. If you also look at the alt perp index, right, we're getting ready to potentially retest these previous highs here. On this, we did break out of the descending channel here, and now we've just been running up, and now we're coming into the heavy resistance level about 2,400. You can just look this up. It's the FTX altcoin index perpetual futures. So it's just showing you the broad spectrum of all altcoins together, or the top altcoins together. Now, if we look at the US 30 guys, of which I just started picking up some short positions here, as I've been stating, market's getting ready to blow its load. It's getting a raging hard boner here. And what happens when you get a raging hard boner and you keep stimulating it, keep rubbing it down, you eventually blow your load. Okay. And what happens after that? Your PP deflates, goes to sleep. And that's probably one of the best analogies that I can make in the markets, is because it's gonna pump up, it's gonna inflate, you're gonna keep stimulating it because you're just going crazy, and it's the pleasure is too good. You're making all this money, it feels too good. Guess what? All good things come to an end, literally. And once it deflates, once we run out of room to run, it goes back to sleep. And that's what I think is gonna happen here on the US 30. I just started picking up 2 short positions. I'm gonna be accumulating more short all the way up to about 35K here on US 30. And I'm anticipating a potential move all the way back down, 28K. We don't really know how it's gonna happen. I probably don't have patience to hold it all the way to 20K. I'm going to be locking in gains the whole way down on my MetaTrader. And for those of you wondering where I trade, we got some big news coming up for you guys. Going to give you the opportunity to trade with me. So you can see here, currently at a loss, but this is my game plan going here on US 30. I definitely think it could potentially peak out in this range, somewhere between here and about 35K before coming back down on US 30. So that's the current situation. When we look at the broad markets, when we look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything's gone on this epic bender. People are getting euphoric, and it's nice to see. We're definitely overbought. We took advantage of this big time. I don't know how much money I made. I made quite a bit. I've locked in a lot of gains across the board. Made a bunch of really big trades, multiple 6 figures, I would imagine I made. Currently right now at the open positions, right now, I just locked in $18,000 profit on the one trade in about 2 days. Still long, a small position, but I locked in about 75% gains here. I also locked in about 14,000 on the current trade on Bitcoin, but got a stop in place. Not going to take any losses on here. And I think, you know, it's basically hitting near my profit targets, about 25.5 to 25K. We're also in ruin. Hasn't really done much. Everything for the most part is still trading sideways, right? These are all revival pre-breakout patterns, things that I teach in my Krypton course. If you don't know what that is, it's basically 20 years of trading experience, trading stock market, trading Forex, and now full-time in crypto. Everything I've learned along the way, how to make a shitload of money in a short amount of time, get in and get out with zero emotions, and not giving a shit about the overall plethora of politics in your fanboyism about you thinking this is to be the next big coin. Who cares what the coin does? Look at the charts. Look how you can manipulate the scenario of all these fanboys buying it in and hyping it up, and then sell to them at the top, because they're going to keep buying, and then it's going to come crashing down. They're going to wonder what the hell happened. They're going to be hodling it for fucking the next 2 years at a loss when you sold at the top. So that's basically what the course is about. How to take advantage of idiots, because that's all trading is. An exchange of money from one person to the other based on one person thinking they're making the right decision, and one person knowing that a lot of people are stupid, and then you take advantage of them. Unfortunately, that's how trading works. Not everybody's going to win, but that's all you're trying to do in trading, is outsmart the next person and make the right decision and hope that they're making the wrong decision. Next up also is Sand, of which I just locked in some gains. Same thing. It's revival pattern. It's not moving. Doesn't want to break out. Okay, so I'm just continually locking in gains here along the way. Also SHIB. SHIB is being a pain in my butt stain across the board as well here. Revival pattern, not moving. Continually testing this level. But the more and more it tests this level, the smaller amount of resistance this becomes. The problem is Ethereum has already made its massive move. Ethereum's been on a straight trajectory up. NASDAQ's been on a straight trajectory up. US 30 Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're all making massive moves, continually trending the upside, while this is doing absolutely nothing during the entire time. Now, if Ethereum and the market flips and starts eating shit, this is going to absolutely collapse and get absolutely destroyed. So we want to see our coins moving in line with Ethereum, not stagnant and doing nothing, because if Ethereum's going up and this doesn't go up, then that sucks for us if we are long. But if Ethereum goes down, this isn't going to stay sideways. It's going to fucking eat shit. So you have to understand that. So always have stops in play. I'm not going to lose on this. I've already locked in a small gain on this position. The next one that we're in here as well is Mana. Currently up about 2K on Mana, already locked in another 2K. We've been trying to trade this several times for the breakout. It just continually doesn't do anything, stagnant across the board. It's very flat. Also, FitFi, another one that we're in now, currently locked in about 1,700, up about 5,000 on the second position. I've been trying to trade this as well as GMT. Both are these, move to earn bullshit apps that will probably fail in the long run. Who fucking cares? All I know is that there's hype behind it and a good chart. So all you need to know about in trading, if you're looking for short-term gains, look for hype, look for a good chart, look for volume, try to get in a smart level and try to get out when everybody else is buying at a stupid level. That's trading in a nutshell. That's all I'm trying to do across the board. But GMT, again, has been sideways while Ethereum has been pumping. So I just sold GMT for about $100 gain today for basically nothing, just getting out because it's not moving. But FitFi is in a similar pattern and there is a lot more momentum, but I've already locked in some gains and expecting and hoping that this does start biking up above these levels. But again, Ethereum is at 2K. If this starts eating shit and dropping, everything is going to drop across the board, and it's not going to be good to be stuck in a bunch of altcoins if Ethereum's at its peak and it starts actually getting a big, 10 to 30% pullback off its highs here. So definitely be locking in gains across the board and potentially be looking to start shorting stuff as well. That's that play. I also just locked in our gains on VRA. This hit our first profit target here, barely almost hit our secondary profit target, right? So not a huge gain, but up 35% or 36% on the top from our original entry down here. It was a $100,000 position, so a 36% gain. I actually got it about right here, so I made about 25,000 on VRA because 25% gain, 100K position. This is also in my spot account, not in my futures account. PYR is another one that I'm getting ready to get out of. We made a nice, 60% gain or so on this. This first initial run right here, I'm now back in at about 408. It's now currently 479. Again, this was a six-figure position. I've already locked in partial gains near our T1 profit target, and I'm probably getting ready to lock in the rest of the gains here. Hasn't shown that a whole lot of momentum, even as Ethereum's been peaking out and running. So for me, I'm mostly just trying to get out of positions right now, right? I'm trying to lock in gains as best as I can. We had a huge runner on one here for us. I was hoping to see a 54% move, which still potentially can happen if we do just continually trade sideways and flag again on Ethereum, and then potentially get that push to 2,300 as well as a push to 25K plus on Bitcoin. We could definitely still see another leg up on these, right? Like, look, I still have a lot of positions long here, guys. Okay, so I'm not saying the end is here, but I'm definitely preparing for it. The end could be today of this current run, and then before we see a potential continued downside across the markets. That's currently where we're standing across the board. Okay, so just to give you a brief summary, start locking in gains. If your account is on all-time highs or recent all-time highs, that is the moment you should be locking in gains. That's not the moment you should be buying more. You want to lock in the majority of your profits on these massive runs. And then when we see another massive dip, you have a bunch of free cash to then buy that dip. In short, I'm potentially looking to short Ethereum. I'd like to see a little bit of a bigger spike on volume over 2K, right? We're diminishing volume, so we're running out of base here. Typically, when you don't see a big volume at pivotal moments, that's not necessarily the top, okay? So I'm looking to see a volume spike and an extended short squeeze to the upside, see some institutional buying numbers here, and that's where we're gonna see a potential bottom. Just as we saw here on the extended sell-off, look at this massive volume spike, right? This is institutional money getting in and getting out, buying the dip, and that's when we finally bottomed out. Once we saw a massive extended push, seeing the physical move in price action, and also physically actually seeing this huge volume spike. And we haven't seen that kind of move here of a big push to the upside and increased volume other than this day here when we spiked up over that on the CPI numbers, but now we're kind of diminishing in volume. But overall, I think Ethereum is coming into a good short potential area between 2K and 2,300. I've also continued to compile a potential short position, or not potential, already have some short right now on Ethereum and looking to continue US 30, not Ethereum, and we'll continue adding to this short on US 30 because I do think we're going to continue to slide to the downside across the board in the markets. But anyways, it's Saturday, guys. Just thought I'd give you an update and wanted to shoot a video while I still have all these open profits before I lock in the gains, because it's getting time to lock in some serious gains. You can see I've locked in the majority of my gains, and I've locked in a lot of gains across the board on my spot account. The other thing I'll show you here is my Kraken account. See, this balance is $126,000. This was supposed to be over $2 million. I had a bunch of money in here. I took money from my business checking account and I put it in here. And then I thought to myself, I don't want exposure to the market, so I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to let it sit here. And instead, I put in a new Anchor protocol to earn $30,000 per month in earnings through their yield protocol. And then it all vanished in 48 hours. So now there's $126,000 because, you know, that's just life. But just to show you what I've been doing in this account, nailing the bottom, buying the dip on Matic, bottom ticking Matic. Where else did we bottom tick? Ethereum. Buying the dip. And mind you, I already sold all these positions, okay? For some reason, it's not showing my sales, but I sold everything yesterday. Looking at Ethereum here, buying the dip, bottom ticking Ethereum. That's what I'm talking about. But I sold it at about 1,800. Also, Solana. Buying the dip on Solana down here, 31. Just got out of this yesterday. I forget what else I was in here, but I had about 4 or 5 other positions. I believe I was also in ENJ, maybe. And every time I get this idea I should hodl, something bad happens. I either give back all my gains or I fucking deposit it into Anchor Protocol and lose $2 million in 48 hours while I'm on a fucking flight. Fuck my life, man. I can make it back. And a lot of people think that it was trading money. It wasn't. The majority of it was money from my business checking account that was doing nothing. So I deposited it into my Kraken business account so I could buy the fucking dip and then hodl when shit hit the fan down to 9 to 12K. That didn't happen. I put in Anchor Protocol and I'll evaporate in 48 hours. And then I deposited an additional $100,000 to buy this recent dip because I just lost my other $2 million dip buy money, okay? And I bought the dip and sold the rip, okay? We got an ENJ bottom the fuck ticked out of that. But anyways, guys, I digress. Looking to potentially short. Happy Saturday here in Bali. Just made a shitload of money. Could have made a lot more because fucked up big time trying to do DeFi bullshit, you know? Too good to be true, guys. But anyways, that's a wrap. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We got a next YouTube live coming up, probably Tuesday or Wednesday because it's my birthday next Friday, August 19th, the big 3-8, almost 40 years old, fam. Doing this almost 20 years. Goddamn, life goes on. Anyways, see you in the next one. Peace.